Too often do I hear of people that say they have low back pain during specific core exercises. What I'd like to do is ask that person, do you have issues throughout the day? Do you have issues where you're sitting at your desk, where you're playing with your kids, everyday movements? And a lot of times they say no, they have no issues there, but it's when they do the specific exercise, whether it's the plank or they do some kind of flutter kicks, a sit-up or a crunch, they say those are the specific movements which lead to or cause their lower back pain. If that's the instance, what we need to do is actually take a look at the exercise. Is that exercise fit that person specifically? What I often find is most people work on these core exercises that recruit more of these global muscles around abdominals, obliques, QL, these bigger muscles around the core, but they fail to work on the stability exercises, which recruit the smaller muscles around the spine, which help create and maintain a nice rigid position. Because what you'll often find is those other exercises are great, but in my opinion, they are a little bit more intermediate for some people. Making sure you have that underlying stability should be the first step, and then putting more strength and those more advanced stability exercises on top of it. So what I want to run you through today is a very simple self-assessment that looks at core stability. It's called the legs lowering drill. And then after that, show you two basic core stability exercises that would be good to really take a step back if you're having low back pain, discomfort, or any issues with those core exercises to help build that stability, learn proper positioning of the rib cage, spine, and pelvis, and then from there progress to those exercises. Because I think what you'll find is the exercise isn't the problem, it's your execution and setup that's leading to that discomfort or low back pain during that specific core exercise. So stay tuned. So the next thing for us to do here is to self-assess core stability. One of my favorite self-assessments or tests to look at that is this legs lowering exercise. So what you would do for this exercise is, I'm not going to tell you too much yet, I'm going to explain it after the fact, is lift both legs up to 90 degrees. What I'm going to do in that position, and not using my hands, I see a lot of people sneaking the hand under the back, under the hips, out to the ground. Just bring your hands up in the air so the hands aren't assisting in any way, and then take 10 seconds. Nice and slowly, let the legs lower. And you're just going to lower the legs all the way down to the ground. What we are looking for on this self-assessment is, as I get to that 45-degree angle, does my lower back start to arch? Because typically if you lack core stability and you can't maintain the proper positioning of the rib cage, the spine, and the pelvis, your pelvis is going to start to roll, your rib cage will open up, and in turn that's going to cause this arching at your lower back. So there's going to be more space between the lower back and the floor. We want to see, can you maintain that position, maintain that flat back position or that neutral spine as you go through to 45 degrees. So this is kind of a positive test. If I was lowering down and I'm starting to get to about here, my pelvis is moving with my legs, and then all of a sudden, see this big space under my lower back, that's what's happening. And then in turn, again, sometimes some discomfort, ache, pain throughout the lower back. So that is the legs lowering self-assessment. Very good thing to do on the front end to see, hey, where is my issue? If you have no problem with this, you can lower past 45 degrees or nearly to the ground without losing your back position. Most likely you need to look at the exercise. Is there something wrong with the setup for that specific exercise? Do you have some kind of issue with the lower back? If you see a loss of stability here, you need to actually take a step back. We need to add some very simple core stability exercises in there, teach you how to maintain your positioning throughout the midsection here, to then put that new technique, that new awareness into play when you did those previous core exercises that caused some kind of irritation at the lower back. So in this next video or segment here, what I want to show you is very simple core stability exercises to start implementing to really reinforce good positioning throughout the core. So now that we've assessed with the legs lowering, it's really good to find what is a good progression that we can implement that starts very basic, teaches proper positioning, and then builds on that position to bridge the gap to whatever we were doing before, so we can do that in a pain-free manner. What I really like is this dead bug progression. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to show you 3 different variations of this dead bug progression, making it a little bit harder every step of the way, so you can kind of see, okay, what level am I at, and I guess where do I need to stop and really work on consistently? Might be days, might be weeks, could be even months to master that position to then help really improve core stability that carries over to your other core training. So first thing we're going to do here, and it's really important to realize, incorporating some diaphragmatic breathing into this is good. So from here, nice deep inhale, exhale. As you exhale, let the rib cage pull down. Again, we want to be breathing around this midsection, right above the pelvis, right below the rib cage. We don't want to be strictly opening up the rib cage and letting those ribs pull up, because that's going to typically lead to a position where the lower back is more extended. Okay, so exhale, rib cage down, lightly squeezing with my abs to hold the rib cage in place, and then I want to continue to breathe right through here. Breathing in through this lower abdominal and lateral abdominal area. Okay, once I have that position, I'm going to lift my legs up. This is the first step of the progression. So continuing to breathe in through the abdominal area. All I'm going to do is go into a marching motion. So I'm going to tap one heel at a time, tap, heel, and alternate. You can hear I'm trying to keep up with my breathing. It's a little more challenging than you would expect here, breathing into the abdominal wall as you're using these same muscles here to stabilize. But I'm always coming back and checking, hey, what does my lower back look like? What does the rib cage look like? What does the pelvis look like? Am I losing any of my position, going into more flared, extended, or tipped position there? Or am I maintaining that position of the rib cage directly over the pelvis? So this is a simple marching exercise. To start with that one, doing anywhere from 6 per side, progressing to 8 per side, 10, 12, but doing 2 to 3 sets of that is good. Our next exercise is incorporating the arm. So typically once you reach an arm overhead, it tends to start to pull at the lower back and rib cage to open those up. So we have another factor here that we really have to stabilize against to prevent the back from going into extensions. So same thing, same principles when I start, breathing, rib cage down, breathing into this abdominal area, opposite arm, opposite leg. Usually with this, I like to focus on the breathing in no specific manner to the exercise. So a lot of people like to inhale, exhale at certain points. Because it's such a low-level core stability exercise, I honestly think you should be able to breathe regardless of your position. There's no need to have to breathe when you're in the hardest position or stabilized through there. So just going opposite arm, opposite leg. Nice, slow, and control, but again, always coming back to, okay, can we monitor the position of the lower back? If you're losing that, it's either can we tighten up the exercise, improve it, and really focus on the basics, or do we need to take a step back, continue to master the regular dead bug marching before going to the dead bug. So same progressive manner, we'd work on 6 per side, 8, 10, 12, progressing up over a matter of weeks. Our next one here is really how we tie it all together. So we're gonna go holding this medicine ball. Anytime we lift both arms up overhead, you can see what happens. All the way up overhead, my rib cage opens up, my back starts to arch. So in addition to the legs going away, which kind of creates some of that stress throughout the core here, the arms are going to go into a more challenging position that really makes that low back more challenging to maintain stability. So I'm going to set up here. I actually like to hold the ball at first, get me set up here, nice neutral spine, and no space under that lower back. Start with the breathing. And then from here, I'm going to raise the ball overhead first. I'm already trying to resist that opening of the rib cage. And then I'm going to go into this bicycle or dead bug motion. A lot more challenging. Already feel it being somewhat shaky. You can hear my breath, a little more challenged. But a little bit harder on this one to maintain your position and to check your position, obviously, because both hands are holding overhead. But I would do the same progression. I would work on 6 per side, 6 each leg, 8 each leg, 10, then 12. Work to 2 to 3 sets. Do that on a consistent basis, most likely every day, if not every other day, to start to improve that. If I notice that this is really challenging, it's really either take a step back to the regular dead bug, or can I change the position of the ball to fit the specific level that I'm at? A lot of times, the ball being straight up in the air, a little bit easier, obviously. I'm not reaching my arms overhead. And then as we go higher, higher, higher overhead, that exercise becomes a lot more challenging. So you kind of have to find what angle fits your current situation. Don't force it and think I'm just going to go to the hardest position possible. Gradually progress that exercise till you're able to get all the way back while maintaining the proper position, and you'll see a lot more success moving forward. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video today. If you are someone that has lower back pain when performing various core exercises, definitely take a step back, look at these different things we looked at today. Do the self-assessment, work on the exercises, see if you can troubleshoot that and figure that out. If you have any questions still at that point, feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to help you more, but I hope this video provided you some value today, and have a great day.